What's up, everybody? Episode 29 tonight. I got Christian here. It's a nice little Friday night. Fall life right now. Football's going on with the high school boys. All of our athletes are playing. I guess one of my athletes' teams are getting killed.
No, I was wrong.
Oh,
I forget that stadium's back 4 wars backwards.
Oh, so they're
I just love their 21-6. They're playing Bear Creek.
Oh yeah, Bear Creeks. I like it. They're boo. Well, anyways, we're here drinking. I don't know. What'd you make, Christian?
So
it smells like a Ford Loco.
It smells like a Ford Loco. It's really just what's the Victoria's Secret vodka?
Vodka.
Yeah, that vodka that's out in your fridge.
Victoria's Secret.
I don't know. It like has the pink Victoria's Secret logo on the side of it.
Oh, I think that was for Lake Powell.
It was from Lake.
That was from Lake Powell. Yeah. I don't know.
And a Monster.
It's good. It is good.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. I made a mixie for us.
A little mixy for the boys and that.
That is actually really good.
It is good, man. It's got a good little taste.
Why didn't we do that at Lake Powell?
Well, I mean, we just were drinking all the other shit at Lake Powell. I mean, I don't know if my body could take more liquor.
I had
from
like,
Lake Powell. We literally had the week after Lake Powell, or the few days after, I was in withdrawals from alcohol. That's how hard we went at Lake Powell.
Shane turned into an alcoholic for a week.
Yeah, and I felt real withdrawals, man. Like shivers.
Dude, I stopped drinking the last 2 days while we were out there, so I was fine when we got home. Everybody else, you and Jake were dying.
Well, one of the last nights we drank like the whole Kraken.
Oh yeah, I forgot I did drink.
Like half the Kraken on the last night at the campfire, which is hammered.
I don't remember the last night at the campfire, so.
You don't remember?
No. I also don't remember. There was one night.
Remember waking up naked on the side?
I didn't wake up naked on the side. I do remember that. I'm not that dumb. There was one night. There was one night that I drank from like 4 o'clock until like 1, and we were sitting around the table up on the beach, and I kept looking out like on the lake, and the moon was shining, and there was like a line from the moon on the water, and it would like cross and be 2, and then it'd be 1, and I would lose focus, and it would cross and be 2, and then I'd try to focus in, and be like, I'm not that drunk, I'm not that fucked up, and I'd like focus in, and then I just went to bed, and I laid down on the top of the house.
Well, you weren't just drunk. I mean, we had some other party favors there, some very Delaney.
Yeah, but I was spinning on top of the houseboat, and then I saw a shooting star, and I fell asleep.
Nice. So, did you make a wish?
I was too drunk to make a wish.
You're like,
you know that video of the double?
I wish we didn't crash the jet.
Dude, have we told the Brewskies people that yet?
No. Yeah, I mean that one. Let's just say, we sent it a little too hard.
You know that video with I can't think of the guy's name, the Send It guy, where he jumps the fucking, what's the thing that goes on snow? The snowmobile. The snowmobile. He jumps it onto cement or something.
Oh yeah,
that was us.
Basically.
With the jet ski and rocks.
Let's just say 3 grown ass men on the jet ski,
which is rated for 600 pounds.
Yep. And we're going down the canyon, and the weight, I couldn't turn it, so there's a rock, and we jumped the rock, and it was a good time, and my dad got mad. The end. I'm gonna take a drink. But yeah, good times at Lake Powell, always good times. Anyways, book of the month. This month we got Belichick, one of the best coaches, if not the best coach ever in the NFL. It's crazy. Well, you can't say anything that he's not. Look, a lot of people don't like the Patriots. I don't like the Patriots. The what?
Deflategate. Spygate. Tom Brady's cell phone deflategate.
Tom Brady's cell phone.
What else is going on? No, he's a great coach.
He's a great coach. I mean, when people look at Belichick and like the Brady era, they talk about Brady's like the best QB ever, which he done a lot. I mean, he won 5 Super Bowls, and he will go down as one of the 6. I don't know, 5 or 6, but he will go down as one of the best QBs that ever played. But Belichick was Belichick was the answer. Basically, he was
basically,
the key. And basically, you can see this with Cam Newton.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
Still
you can
going.
see it with Cam Newton now. He does it with every player. Belichick and the Patriots is a team that, if you have a football player that needs to rebuy their NFL career, go see Belichick.
Basically.
And he does it. He does it every time.
Look at it like this.
It's crazy.
You look at it like this. You have Tom Brady. Okay, and everyone, the whole argument before the season is Tom Brady assistant quarterback, or did Tom Brady make Belichick and Josh McDaniels and the whole coaching staff? You look at it now. Tom Brady's doing okay down with Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is another great head coach.
Yeah.
Great offense, but Tom Brady forgot what down he was on last night. So he might have CTE. We don't know.
Yeah.
Belichick, if you look at his career as a coach, he was not the greatest coach with the Browns. They probably made a mistake firing him.
Yeah.
And then he came to the Patriots, and basically from off the bat with Bledsoe, he was a great coach. To Tom Brady, then you had Tom Brady get hurt. You got Chad Henne comes in. They win 11 games, and this was in like 2007. And then you have Brady goes down, Brady got suspended for Deflategate for 4 games or whatever. And Garoppolo comes in and plays well. He gets hurt, and then Brissett comes in, plays well. He gets hurt, and then Tom Brady came back.
Yeah.
Then all these quarterbacks go other places. Jacoby Brissett goes and starts for
the Colts
for a few years until Philip Rivers comes in. Jimmy G's in San Francisco going nuts. I mean, you look at
he just breeds people.
It's like the coaching tree and the quarterback tree that comes out of the Patriots goes other places, and they flourish unless you're Josh McDaniels and the Broncos. Anyhow.
That's true.
But you look at these coaches, and even
coaches too. All the coaches that he's under. I don't know all of them, but like he's had a lot of coaches that were underneath him, and then they went on to either be offensive coordinators, head coaches at other teams, and it's like crazy to see a type of leader that one coach can be. And I'm excited to start this book. I just got the audio book, and I'm excited to listen to it. But it's cool to listen, especially like a coach at a professional level and us being sports performance coaches, just to hear like, how do you be that top leader? How do you lead people and change the game? How do you get people to follow you? And I mean, me being interested in like the sports psychology realm, it's really cool to see how he goes about this. And it's going to be awesome to read this book about how does he change these players? How does he grow these players? What are his ways? What are his techniques? What skills does he go through? So, I mean, it's going to be crazy to kind of see that with, everyone that he's taught before. So, not just Brady.
So, just to backtrack, I pulled up his coaching tree, and I'm just going on pictures here. But you got Mike Vrabel. You got, what's his name that just got fired by the Texans? I can't think of his name. He's a great college coach. Kind of sucked with the Texans.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien. That's
Bill
his name.
O'Brien.
Then you got Nick Saban's on here. You got Romeo Crennel on here. I mean, he's worked with all these guys.
Yeah.
The Miami coach right now, Josh McDaniels. I mean, you see what he does with the offense. I mean, he obviously sucked with the Broncos, but I think he was just trying to be too much Bill Belichick with the Broncos. Matt Patricia, who is absolutely dog shit in Detroit, but great defensive coach.
I mean, he's done okay in some seasons. He's done okay other seasons.
Yeah. Bill Parcells is on there. Who else is on there? Yeah, Nick Saban.
It's crazy.
There's some names that I don't know. Pat Hill, I'm not sure who that is. But yeah, there's a lot of college coaches on here. Iowa's coaches on here. I mean, there's like the coaching tree if you look at it, and the quarterbacks that have kind of popped out underneath Tom Brady. Not that Tom Brady could give two shits about mentoring a guy underneath him, but I mean, as a quarterback, I feel like even if he's not there mentoring you and teaching you shit, you're still sitting there and watching him in meetings, and you're around him all the time. You just pick up on stuff. Yeah. So it's just like Peyton Manning. He probably gave two shits about Brock Osweiler in 2015. And the years before that, but Osweiler's around him. You pick up on his
style.
Yeah, his style of how he carries himself. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it's weird to see now, like Tom Brady go to the Bucks, and
forget what town it is.
Yeah. So he's having success, but you can tell he's not the same Tom Brady. And that just goes to show how powerful like Belichick's coaching style is.
I have an opposite argument to that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Tom Brady 20 years, plays in the same offensive scheme, plays in the same coaching experience in the same organization. He goes to a different organization. Gronk goes to a different organization. Gets all these different moving parts, right? Yeah. Is it Tom Brady sucking and not being in the Belichick system, or is it a new offense, a new style of coaching, throwing his game, having his game regress due to that? Because if you look at game 1 to game 5 or game 4, what was last night? Week 5. Are we in week 5 already?
Week 5.
Yeah. So we look through games 1 through 5, and the team itself and Tom Brady's improved every week, but he's not the same Tom Brady that he was. And you can counter that same thing. Peyton Manning comes from Tony Dungy and Jim Caldwell, right?
Yeah.
And then comes straight over to Denver and has success right away. So.
Yeah. So I mean, people clearly learning a new system.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like Bill Belichick's system was still super successful, and him knowing that really helped him out though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like Belichick was still able to change it every year to make him successful every year.
And not even every year, week to week.
Yeah. And with him, of course, you're going to a new coach, you're going through a whole new team, you're going through a whole new system. Like, yeah, it's going to take a learning curve for sure. I mean, he was pissed last night when he lost. Like, with the whole situation that when he was yelling at his O-line, like all this shit was just going on.
Nick Foles.
But that's what I was saying. Nick Foles is like the only one who's beat Tom Brady still.
One of the few. I saw a stat today.
Eli Manning.
I saw a stat today. It was like 4 quarterbacks that have the most wins without any losses to Tom Brady. Nick Foles 2-0. Brian Greasy with the Broncos 2-0.
Brian Greasy.
Jake Plummer 3-0 with the Broncos. There was another quarterback. Yeah.
And then Eli.
No, but Eli had losses though.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Eli had losses. This was like the most wins without a loss to Tom Brady. But But yeah, also Eli Manning. I mean, hey Tom,
it's just funny
what happened there twice.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, the Bucks. They still got a lot of holes in their team.
Yeah,
and they don't have Chris Godwin, who's arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL, one of the best wide receivers, basically. So you just got broken pieces right now. Yeah. And that was like the first time last night that Gronk actually did something. Like
Gronk's been non-existent this entire season.
He hasn't done anything, so it's kind of wild. But going off of that, though, I mean, it's gonna be cool to see the style that Belichick goes about, but like the way that he's able to grow the Patriots every year.
Yeah.
Year in and year out.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see.
How do you be successful every year? And that's, I think, what's going to be one of the most, lessons that I want to learn from how he goes about it is to be successful year in and year out.
Yeah.
And that's, the process that he has to go through.
Yeah. And I guess, there's a huge transition right now going on in New England, going from Brady to Cam.
Yeah.
Cam's a completely different person than
when was the last time Belichick had a running QB?
A running QB that has a lot of attitude and a lot of character.
And loves to
wear weird outfits.
Did you hear Cam Newton? He said at some point that he has never wore the same outfit twice.
Like after a game?
No.
Just in general?
In general, like
Jesus.
He would show up, never wore the same outfit twice. And I said,
why?
So you're literally buying one piece of clothing like every day that like changes your style?
He probably has like a outfit
wild.
designer or something like that.
No, yeah, that's what he has. But and I'm like,
no, and I think everybody was worried about Cam going to New England, like Bill's going to shut him down, but Cam seems to be himself.
Yeah.
And you wonder how Bill.
Well, Cam was a great quarterback for the Panthers. He just, I don't even know what happened.
Von Miller.
Von Miller.
Von Miller became his dad.
Is that what happened?
In Super Bowl 50, and then the first game the next year.
No, he got hurt?
Yeah,
he got hurt.
Yes, he emotionally hurt after losing the Super Bowl.
Physically.
No, and then he fucked his shoulder up, and they jacked with his throwing motion, and he fucked his ankle up.
And then
he kept playing with it.
And they dropped him, right? Or they cut him
at the end of the season or the offseason last year, and they're rolling with Teddy Two Gloves now.
Teddy's actually doing pretty good.
I started him in fantasy last week.
Did you?
Yeah, over Carson Wentz. Yeah.
Carson Wentz did good last week, though.
Yeah, Teddy did better. So
I'm going to start Teddy in this week.
You can't. I have Teddy.
No, I know. For my betting.
Oh. Who do they play?
Atlanta.
Oh.
Who gives those thousands of pass yards?
In the fourth quarter. Because they love blowing
leads. They just love blowing people and leads.
Nice.
I feel bad. I like Matt Ryan, though. Good man. Drew Brees, on the other hand, I feel bad for him.
I'm telling you right now.
Michael Thomas, who's on my fantasy.
They need a new head coach. Dan Quinn ain't getting the job done. Why are you losing?
Yeah, it's clearly.
Yeah, it's not an athlete thing
it's not necessarily the head coach. I think there's way more that goes into that. You got the offensive coordinator, you got the defense coordinator. Unless Dan Quinn's the one who's calling the offensive coordinator, I don't know. Not all the head coaches do that. I think Dan Quinn's a defensive coach, or a defensive-minded coach. Well, clearly their defense needs work. Because they can't hold.
They have large holes in their defense that love getting filled by other teams.
Jesus.
Drink
to that one.
Nice. I totally just blanked on what football thing I was going to start talking about. So sorry, everybody. But let's move on to basketball. Psych.
No, we don't like basketball.
Because LeBron's a baby and it's all.
Did they win?
I don't know.
I think they played it.
As soon as the Nuggets fell out of it, I stopped watching.
Yeah, of course.
Because LeBron's a baby back bitch. 80 is LeBron's baby back bitch.
Nice.
And the two of them together literally are best friends with all the refs and the NBA. So anyhow, moving on. So looking at Cam, and do you see him extending career-wise with Belichick? Do you think Belichick can get his career turned back around to where Cam has a run like Tom did? Not a 20-year run, but like 5 years, like a short.
I don't know.
Do they get a Super Bowl with Cam?
I don't know. For some reason, I don't see him sticking with Cam.
You see him moving to?
I see him trading Cam.
Really?
Next year.
Really?
I don't know. I just don't. I think Belichick. He's just never had a running quarterback like that. I feel like it's just not his style, and I feel like he's gonna get all maybe worked up and be like, maybe this isn't who I want as my franchise QB, and maybe draft someone and then.
Well, it's almost like Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater comes in for 5 games last year, goes 5-0 or 5-1 with the Saints, and now he's a starting quarterback again.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees is down.
So I think he could just do what Belichick always does.
Yeah.
Is he holds on to a QB, he
nurtures them,
breastfeeds them, and then sends them on their way.
Basically.
And they then they go to the next team and they try
breastfeeding for a long time.
He was sucking on the nip for a while.
20 years.
20 years on Belichick's nip.
43-year-old on Belichick's nip.
Nice.
Very nice. We like that.
But I don't know. We'll see. They got the COVID, so.
No, Cam's got
Plus, yeah. So everyone has to pay for it, so no one can play right now.
The Broncos are getting fucked in this situation. They're playing at 3 p.m. on Monday Denver time. They're flying in at midnight on Sunday, and so there's some other weird shit.
Who do they play? Oh,
New England on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Mountain time, 2 p.m. Whatever the California time is.
I don't know. Huh. Well. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what Cam can do.
I like
if he can stay successful, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Is the first number one thing.
Yeah.
I think they ran the system really well. They don't have no defense.
They never have had defense. Haven't had defense
they've
since.
Had some good.
No.
I think they got Gilmore. Okay, they've had some good.
They've had some great defenses.
They just had 8 people at the beginning of the season.
They haven't had a great.
Starters.
You're right, and they haven't had a great defense since they went 16-0.
They have great players. I don't think they've always had like the great
defensive
scheme.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because they've just been so offensively.
Well, Brian Flores, their D coordinator that was after Matt Patricia left, that had a pretty good solid run there for a couple of years, is now the head coach in Miami.
Yeah.
So, and Miami's I was told I was wrong today. Miami's governors, or Florida's governor, said they could have all the fans in the stadium, but the world's football team said no. So, can you imagine? Okay, Miami.
Well, I mean, Trump's from Florida, right? Or he lives in Florida. I don't know.
Trump
lives in Florida, so he's he's gonna be like, let's fill the stadium.
Probably.
Did you get that meme I said?
No. Oh, the fly? Yeah, I did.
And that would be my boat. Funny, huh?
Shane sent a picture of
fly
for you guys that watched
on the vice president's head.
The fly on the vice president Mike Pence's head. Somebody decided to Photoshop OG Mudbutt on top of it. And everybody knows the OG Mudbutt picture that I'm talking about. It's the one where he's sitting on the side of the bed. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody knows what it is. Don't go look it up if you don't know what it is, because you're not going to want to see it.
Go look it up.
Yeah.
For the boys.
Go look it up. Because then that's the thing, is that that's a meme that has been used over and over and over again, and it's like it never gets old. Like, everybody loves seeing OG Mudbutt sit on the side of the bed.
They love seeing him, or they love seeing other stuff
like
that are part of it.
No, just him.
Depends on what you're really looking for right now. I sent it to Kimbo in the group chat, and
you should send it to like Powell group chat.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm gonna do right after this. I'm gonna send it to Powell group chat. I'm gonna send it. So I sent it to Sam, Lindsay's husband, and Cody. Sam was like, what do you say? He's like, just so huge or something like that. And then Cody was like, you just have never seen Joe's wiener. I was like, Joe's just packing.
If everybody wants to
Joe and Christian are just packing together.
If everybody wants to see how big Joe's penis is, just go look at the Powell pictures on Shane's on books. It might be on Books of Brewskies.
It is on Books of Brewskies.
When you guys were wearing Speedos.
They loved us in the Speedos. Cheers.
Socks.
Cheers to that. And I hope everyone is having a good Friday night, honestly.
I hope everyone had a great week.
How do we feel like quarantine hits, early, whatever it was, I don't even know, back in the day. Where do we even think? It's kind of weird. Like, where does even quarantine stand right now?
Back in quarantine, he used to be like,
that's what I'm saying.
Back in but now it's just like back in quarantine.
I'm like, everyone would have a fun Friday night. Like, I feel like some people now, like, people are going out and stuff like that. Like, what do we even feel with quarantine right now?
I kind of like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
life
what
is like our normal life now, we basically graduated like what we thought was life into a new life, and then we're having to like relearn how to like work the world. Like we can't go out to we can't go downtown. We're not going to any games right now.
But people are going out still.
Well, yeah, but like
there's rules,
think about this,
but there's like not rules. Like you gotta wear the mask so you walk to the table. And then once you get to the table, no mask because quarantine monster's not at the table.
Okay, here's one for you.
But when you walk from the table to the door, the quarantine monster is there.
So at Mountain, I'm not gonna say it. Where the high school I worked at, at a school I work at, and I've seen this at multiple schools. Okay, they put like like on the street, like you go one way and the other way, like on the road, right? Okay, so there's a yellow and black tape line down the middle of the hallway. And there's arrows going on one side of the hallway and arrows on the other side of the hallway. Like, okay. So that yellow and black, yes, they walk back like against each other. Like one's breathing in the other's face.
Is it a double yellow line or is it dotted?
It's dotted, technically. So like if you put your blinker on, you can pass.
You can pass the person, but you have to keep your mask on as you pass.
But you can take it off back in your lane. But no, like if you look at it like that, like in reality, like I didn't think a black and yellow line could block COVID, but I guess it does.
It does.
It won't cross over the line.
6 feet apart.
My favorite part about it, the bathroom there's the urinals on the wall. Okay, they say they have like a please stand back 6 feet sticker on the floor from the urinal.
No, they don't.
So like
No,
I get their
don't.
premise behind it. It's like, okay, don't stand too close to the dude in front of you peeing, but like at the same time you look at it, you're like, well, am I supposed to pee from back here, 6 feet away?
Yeah, no, that's
like,
what I was
legitimately, like the first time I saw it, I'm like,
six.
am I supposed to stand right here and pee into the urinal 6 feet away? Like I don't know if I can pee 6 feet.
Stand away 6 feet. That's what it should.
So I'm sure there's some stupid freshman high school boys, as there is in every school.
Oh yeah, they're
like,
trying
hey
to
guys,
piss from 6
hey
feet.
guys, how far can we piss? How far can we piss?
Not that
like,
far.
And in reality, they miss. That's everywhere.
I mean, they get 3 inches ahead, and then your stream only goes about like 2 feet. So.
Yeah, so basically, it's basically peeing on the floor.
Yeah. So everyone's peeing on the floor.
But anyhow,
that's funny.
my first thought is like, okay, well, I'm supposed to stand 6 feet away from the urinal.
It's crazy. Crazy life out there right now.
It's interesting,
I mean,
but it's fine. It is what it is. We're learning a new way of life. We can't go to games. We can't go to concerts. So that's basically been forgotten about. I have seen these.
yeah. How are people surviving? This is a question for the viewers. How are people surviving without concerts right now?
I mean,
like,
I'm fine.
I mean,
Well,
you're fine, but like you're fine.
Like I wanted to go to Motley Crue in August,
Yeah,
but
like you're fine. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. Speaking of,
But we're not like
rock bands
no,
and
we're
concerts,
fucking. Speaking of
rest in
shining
peace.
frontier, but
No, and rest in peace to Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, it's
R.I.P.
alright. I'm about to learn. I gotta learn some guitar music.
You gotta learn Eruption, the song before.
Yeah.
You really got
Eruption?
me. Shut the fuck up.
I'll look at some of the stuff. I got the electric over there. I did restring it, but I kind of fucked up, so I actually probably need to get some new
Just
strings.
got the chills. Anyhow,
But I'll be jamming on that. I'm gonna sing a song for the people out there.
we're gonna have a live
We're gonna have a
listen on the Books and
We'll
Brewskies
live
live stream.
We're gonna make our own fucking music intro too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jam and then we'll sing together.
The new Borat movie's coming out.
What?
The new Borat movie's coming
Oh
out.
Jesus! Perfect timing. I love it. Dude,
You
okay,
put
by
a
the way, they
poster
already
up.
made a new South Park with everyone with masks and stuff.
Okay,
I was watching
okay.
it. I know you love South Park,
I
but I was already watching some of
I
it.
watched the first episode last week and I watched this week's episode. They didn't touch on a lot of
Dude.
things they were going to touch on, but they
South
get,
Park
they
gets
get
away
away
with
with
anything.
so much shit.
It's
It's not even
hilarious.
funny.
Dude,
the cops
they wrote-
replace the teachers and then just have a shooting free-for-all in the classroom and kill Token.
No, did you see what happened?
Yeah.
They had
Cartman and Kyle got into a fight.
no. They were in their they were in their desk and they had
Yeah.
their little class.
Their little glass like box.
So like Cartman and like Kyle jumps on Cartman and they tip over and then the like teacher's like, oh, everyone calm down. And then
Just start shooting.
No,
and
they start
Token gets
shooting.
clipped.
Yeah, they start shooting. They just point at,
Didn't I
they
notice
just
that?
point at him. They shoot
For you
the
guys
little
aren't
black
familiar,
dude,
for
and then
you
they're
guys aren't
like,
familiar.
he was in the.
There's two black characters in the history of South Park. You have Chef, who I think he died off on the
Chef
show.
died?
Oh, like 10 years ago. And
I
Token.
like Chef.
Token's the only black
Token,
student,
yeah, I remember Token.
at least as of recent, that I can think of. Token was shot.
Jesus.
And I don't know how South Park gets away with a lot of stuff they do.
Dude.
I mean, they literally.
I love it,
Okay, I
honestly.
I think the way they get away with it is they literally like
No, they
they
wrote
make
their
fun.
contract like perfectly where
Yeah.
they can like use information and they just can't get sued. Like they can do whatever they want.
Well, last
basically.
season-
They wrote it a
Dude,
while ago.
so
before
last year-
a whole bunch of
So
shit.
when all the ICE like camps were going on, like the like essentially like the concentration camps for all like the little Mexican kids and the families like
Yeah.
on the border when they were taking them away, like deporting them. Last year there was an episode where Cartman gets all pissed off, and if you guys watch South Park for the 20 years, Cartman's hated Kyle, and Kyle's Jewish. I'm sure some of you know where I'm going with this, and like where South Park went with this. But basically, Cartman calls ICE. They go pick up Kyle, who's Jewish, and his whole family. Kyle gets put in a camp, and I don't know how South Park got away with this one either. But they're like calling off names, like all the
Mexican names.
the
Jose.
yeah, right. And so they're calling him off. They're like Kyle Broflovsky. They're like, wait, what? How did you get in here? He goes, I'm Jewish. And the cop, or the ICE cop goes, oh no, we can't have him here. Everybody's gonna think we're racists. And I'm like, basically, the whole gist of it, South Park literally makes fun of things that go on that are just the most aggressive way to do it, and they get away with it because I think in reality, obviously they write their contract with Comedy Central, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but they don't like hone in on one thing. They make fun of every little thing that goes on. Like I mean, in season 16, they made fun of the Washington Redskins name and that whole situation. Originally.
That was wild.
Yeah.
They've done. Have you seen all the conspiracy theories on like Simpsons and South Park?
I've never seen the South Park ones. I've seen the Simpsons.
Have you seen the Simpsons one with Trump?
Yeah.
Like they did an episode in like 2010 that Trump was going to be president, and that
it was 2002.
Was it 2002?
Yeah, it was 20 years ago.
Dude, it's wild. It's kind of freaky in a way because they have so many conspiracy theories and they do something and then all of a sudden it changes.
For you guys that don't know, go on Google, type in Pat McAfee Simpsons time traveler. Pat McAfee on his podcast literally goes into like a 10-minute conversation. In 2002, The Simpsons predicted this. And this is how I'm proving that the director and creator of The Simpsons is a fucking time traveler. Way to debunk time travel. Because he's fucking like 18 different things he's like predicted in the show. Coronavirus, the Hornets, Trump being president. What else is... I mean, there's so many other things I probably don't even know of.
Wow. It's wild. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Now you can watch like episodes and be like, oh, is this going to happen?
So one night.
Get your history lesson.
Okay, so one morning. This is a whole other podcast. One morning. This is like in July. This is right after the whole Pat McAfee thing. I watched it with one of my athletes. His name's Ty. He's a Army lacrosse player. Anyhow, we're sitting in the gym. It's like 5 a.m. We both had a monster. We got in the gym like 4:30 that morning, and we started going down this path of like time travel and like it was right after they like NASA had like, oh, there's different dimensions and all this shit. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so I've gotten in deep conversations.
So we're sitting there talking and I'm like, bro.
Interstellar, man.
Interstellar. I finally figured it took me like 3 years to figure out the name of that movie.
Right there.
It literally explains in depth the different dimensions of time.
Yeah.
So you look at this and you see
it's a real thing.
The time's going in reverse, but time's also going forward. AKA different dimensions. You look at the movie Interstellar, right? And you already know where path I'm going on this. So in time right now, it's 2020, right? But we'll call it the fourth dimension, reverse dimension, whatever you want to call it. They're going backwards. So in theory, they are in the future. And when they travel, they're going in the past. Yet we can't travel to the future because we have not invented the technology to travel back to the past yet. So you have the dimension that's going backwards, traveling back to our time, which is basically our time right now, telling us everything that happens in the future, right? So the Simpsons guy, he's from the fourth dimension, right? We're going in one dimension, one way, and they're coming back the opposite way. So they already know everything that's going on, and that's the whole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But scientists have basically proved that time traveling is possible. Yeah. The issue that they have is
we don't have the technology to do it.
Yeah, we don't have the technology, and you have to be able to. Basically, they talk about like kind of like G forces or move your molecules. Yeah. Like it's like the speed of light, right?
Well,
or
it's
like the
Star
speed
Trek.
of sound. Like they broke the speed of sound with jets and stuff like that. So we see it, but you don't hear. You know, like you hear the sonic boom and stuff like that. Same idea. That's the same idea. You got to be
light travels faster than sound.
Yeah, you got to be able to travel that fast to be able to time travel.
Well, it's like,
but your body's got to be able to take that.
You have to be able to like
G-forces.
Your body gets morphed down in like all these different things. And there's like different.
So when you show back up, you could be in
like different. Well, there's a Family Guy episode about that. Yeah. Where
that's why in Interstellar they talked about the black hole. It created that speed.
Yeah. And so like in Interstellar, right? They're here in 2020, but in 2020, time's traveling 10 times faster than them in the sixth dimension because they're in a slower time frame than we are. And then the whole fucking premise of the movie.
What's his name?
Matthew McConaughey.
They aged like 10.
His daughter is aged like 70 years, and he's aging like a year. He was gone for like 5 years in his time, but like 70 years in Earth time. And so somehow, in some way, he goes into a different dimension, comes back to his dimension, aka what I was just talking about, where the fourth dimension comes back to the first dimension, where we're in right now, right? Yeah. If you watch the movie, he's in one part of the time frame of the dimension, while his body is in the same time frame in a different dimension.
Yeah, when he's
knocking
doing
the books
and
knocking the books off, like, oh, why are these books falling off the wall? Well, it's himself warning him to not go to the fucking third dimension.
Yeah.
Boom, time travel's real. I probably just sounded like I was on some sort of shit there.
Dude, it's real.
I hope everybody followed that.
I need some weed. No.
I don't even know why.
That was a conversation like where Nerd was needed, and
basically
just yeah. But no, man, we had plenty of conversations about that. It's wild. At some point, I wonder in our lifetime. It's weird to think because like our parents were in the 70s or whatever, 60s, whatever. They talk about like technology, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, well, they would never have cell phones with this one, and now we're here and we have all this shit. So it's like we're gonna be now the next parents' generation. Like, what's next after
time travel?
Time travel. They've been trying to talk about flying cars for a while.
Elon Musk already has probably traveled to a different dimension with SpaceX. We don't know it yet.
Probably.
But with that being said, supersonic speed and planes are happening again.
Yeah.
There's a company in Centennial that's created another Concorde type looking plane. Sorry, you brought up supersonic, and I was like, oh yeah.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be crazy where technology takes us. But I'm gonna say one thing before we end this. Is technology going to kill us? Or is technology
going so we get on the topic of iRobot.
Or is technology going to advance us? Quick answer, what do you think? Because on the path that we are going, this is what I think real quick. The type of life that we live, the fast-paced type of life, we've made technology, right? And what happens with technology, everything that we start to make now, we try to make things easier, mm-hmm. right? Like life easier mm-hmm. with it. Like, okay, the computer can store your files, can store this, can have this. Yeah, they're all trying to make it easier. But what ends up happening is it's like we have to add another thing to make mm-hmm. something else easier. Mm-hmm. So it actually becomes more complicated. Yeah. So I think eventually, I don't know, I had this weird feeling the other day that I think eventually, like, whether it's 20 years or something like that, I think we could
fourth dimensional.
I think we could go. We might backtrack and realize that some shit that we build is fucking us up, and I think we might. At some point, I think they have to find something that specifically really makes life not as complicated, because I think we're gonna have a ton of mental issues, mm-hmm. or we're literally going to try to go back to a simpler life with demolishing some type of electronics. But now that's a hard thing to see. Like, let's say we got rid of cell phones. Like, it's almost impossible to think that would ever happen.
Yeah.
But
we could go back.
I mean, if you really think about it, so what happened was this. This is why I was thinking about this. I remember I lost my phone, whatever. This mix up with this lady ended up grabbing my phone, like training or whatever, and I didn't have my phone for like a day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when being at Lake Powell, when you don't have service. I mean, we ended up having service, but typically you don't. So you don't have your phone for a day. You know how much life like is different without your phone? No, like you don't just miss, but you realize like, dude, if you didn't have a cell phone, I'm like driving. I'm like, dude, I couldn't call anybody. I'm just like, dude, I could just fucking do whatever I want. You just do whatever you want. Yeah, and you're like, if I wanted to go see you guys and I had no phone, I'd have to go to your house.
Or use the calls to the house.
Ring the doorbell and like, can't Christian play? Like back in the day. So that's how that's what's crazy is like people don't realize how much technology is kind of fucking us up right now. I don't know,
my cabin, it's up off, literally off the grid, right? I mean, we have like power, we have refrigerators, all that shit, but there's no phone service.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you get up Hooter Canyon, basically 2 minutes after you hit the canyon and you're coming outside of Fort Collins, you lose service and you go off the grid for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how long you're going for, and you kind of forget about the outside world, and you kind of forget about what's happening here. You kind of just live where you're at and more live in the moment. You're not so worried about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace.
And you kind of realize a lot of that shit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
But then
matter
when you have it,
you don't want to live without it.
Well, when you have it, you're like, fuck. It matters because you're trying to accomplish something more in like your work life or more in like moving yourself up in like the work world, basically.
Yeah.
And some people use it as just like attention.
Yeah.
But then when you get in those situations and you leave away, like I said, like Lake Powell and stuff like that, you realize like it really doesn't matter.
You're more worried about hanging around with the people you're with and like doing what you're doing. Like you don't worry about it. Like I mean, we only had service at the houseboat. We didn't have service once we got on
the channel.
Out on the channel. And you kind of forgot about your phone, other than the fact that you like had to like take pictures. And most of the time we had the GoPro and like whatever. Yeah. But like you really don't think about it. And really, to be honest, I feel like none of us really touched our phones except for early in the morning or at night when we were really doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a different world. And I guess, you know, if you look at it like that, I mean, you look at movies in the past, like why technology's bad, we're just fucking ignoring all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Skynet and Terminator and iRobot and all the robots and Will Smith and like all the like we were about to deal with that like head on. And like I just saw, I don't know how true it was, but I think I saw somewhere that they're trying to like make dinosaurs again or some shit. Like we have movies, why you don't do that?
Like Jurassic Park, where they're actually
like you don't
try to mix DNA.
Yeah, like you don't fucking make Jurassic Park. That's just stupid.
We're gonna make a Jurassic Park. That'd be kind of sick though.
Yeah,
but it'd also be
stupid.
Because then people are gonna die.
I'd rather just go to Legoland.
They're gonna be walking Legos, man. They're gonna be like, beep, beep, beep.
That's fine. It's you only have to be 50 to 99 to build that, and it's gonna take a week.
It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be $2,000 because the Millennium Falcon Lego set is $1,000.
Really?
Yes. Like to build the Lego Millennium
Falcon. But not the Legos.
Yeah, it's just a Millennium Falcon. Like
the old one though. That's my dad's.
Bro, the Lego Millennium Falcon is $1,000.
I'll build that shit.
I'm not gonna go buy it. Okay.
I'm just kidding. I used to have a lot of Legos.
I had a Lego train. It's my favorite thing.
I had a Lego land, man.
That's
we built my dad and I got a freaking cardboard freaking table, and then I put a whole bunch of. I made a little city with my Legos.
Do you remember? Good time. I don't know why this popped in my head. You said cardboard table. Do you remember that video that went nuts? It would be crazy right now on TikTok. But how animals eat their food. Do you remember that video?
What?
There's a video on the internet about how animals eat their food, and these two guys like act like animals, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah. And they're like,
yeah,
yeah. I remember that. That was mine.
No, that was just YouTube. That was YouTube. It was like 2009.
He's like how a T-Rex, and he's like,
yeah.
And he like smacks his head.
And he's like a rhinoceros and just fucking
plows it. Yeah, I remember that. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, to end the show, like I said, do you think technology is going to kill us or is it going to save us?
Basically,
I think it's gonna. I mean, technology has done really well in diseases and fixing a lot of issues, but we as humans create a lot of our own issues.
Yeah.
And we see mental health right now. That is a big topic.
Yeah.
And how much stress and all this. And eventually what happens though is humans evolve. So eventually like humans are gonna be able to control a lot more, like be able to whatever we say when we say multitask more. That's gonna happen with a lot of these kids.
They're gonna put a fucking chip in all our brains.
I know. They have chips in the finger now too.
No, but he wants to put chips in our brain to control shit. And he's doing it in like squirrels and shit now or something.
But I think eventually the way of life, I think, will possibly kill us.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be crazy. And our kids are gonna be in a crazy generation.
It's gonna be like I Am Legend. But somebody's gonna come up with a cure for cancer. It's gonna actually turn everybody into zombies.
Yeah.
And then Will Smith's gonna save the world.
Yeah. Literally, Will Smith. Like the actual
Will Smith. Yeah. Like not Will Smith from any of the movies, just Will Smith.
He's the actual Will Smith.
And Morgan Freeman's gonna be in the background, like
he's gonna be narrating it and like videotaping. He's like
Will Smith goes.
He's like on the typewriter. He's like, and Will Smith goes down into the train station.
Okay.
But yeah,
so the summary of this episode: Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. Cam Newton's gonna be on the Patriots for a year. There's multiple dimensions, time travel. The Simpsons predict everything.
Yes.
Technology kills us. Will Smith saves us. Thank you for listening to episode number 29 of Books and Brewskies.
I like that. Thank you. Well, actually, I was gonna mention one more thing. I was gonna say when you said like about your cabin, I was gonna say what's crazy because I was talking to my dad about this is like blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
The amount that like you don't really need your phone as much. Like let's say if you're working on a farm or something like that.
Yeah.
You really don't need technology because you don't need to be talking to people.
Yeah.
Like in a job where like you have to talk to a whole bunch of clients and stuff like that. What I think, like I said, are we going to be able to produce enough more hands-on jobs that run the economy in later on? Because everyone's going to college and trying to do a lot more technology-based and more white-collar jobs instead of blue-collar jobs. That was a topic that we can talk about next time, but that was something that I wanted to bring up because eventually with technology, are we going to be able to sustain blue-collar type jobs like house building, anything?
It's going to be done autonomously with technology.
That's what I'm saying.
But we'll talk about it next week.
Can everything be done like that? I don't know.
Next week on the show, we'll be talking about.
We're
going to watch The Social Dilemma this week on Netflix. I've heard some shit about that since we talked about social. Oh, it's like I guess it's like a Netflix documentary about basically telling us how social media is controlling our lives. Nice. I feel like 6 athletes watched this last week and delete their Instagrams because they're like, holy fuck, Instagram's controlling it. It knows everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Of course it does.
Supposedly, Instagram's algorithm.
Nothing is private anymore.
No, Instagram's algorithm knows how long you're going to stay on a photo based off who posts it, how many times you're going to look at their profile.
No wonder why I see what's her name.
It also knows like.
No wonder why you see what's her name.
Yeah. Dude, shut the fuck up. No, it tells you like, so like say like, Megan Fox, right? You double tap all her likes and you stare at her picture for like 10 seconds, but then you scroll past Jay Can's picture because it's something stupid.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, oh, another Megan Fox picture. Then you see less of Jay Can, you see more of Megan Fox.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, and for you guys that don't know who Jay Can is.
It's all been like that. And I told John this all the time, like when you search something even on the internet, somehow Instagram knows.
Yeah.
Because then the ads end up being what you search on the internet.
Okay, so I hired this guy named Josh. He's one of our coaches at the gym, right? So one day I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, what if we like? It was right before when they canceled football. I'm like, okay, we're gonna like plan this quarantine like combine shit that you guys kind of did delete. Yeah. Right, we're gonna do it up north at Erie High School, whatever. I said, what if we need to get like a tent or whatever? And this was over the phone. Okay, this is over the phone. I said, maybe this wasn't even over the phone. This is in person, bro. We were in person. I'm like, we need to get one of those tents that has like our logo on it. He's like, oh yeah, I'll look into that later. Bro, not shitting you, fucking 5 minutes later, I'm scrolling through Instagram and an ad for the tents and the flags and shit. Yeah, dude, yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Same when I searched on the internet and I was looking for like the iron neck because I wanted to do like we had it at Montana.
Yeah.
Strengthen my neck and I was like, maybe I should get this to help like from having concussion, stuff like that. Literally the same thing. I go on Instagram and the ad was for iron neck. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Dude, that's what I'm saying. You got no privacy. There's nothing to hide. But it's not necessarily a bad thing because honestly, why stress about it? Like, just fucking.
Well, it's basically.
If the government's gonna look up something, or if they're gonna find something, they're gonna find something.
It's like Toy Story.
It's just how it is.
It's like Toy Story.
You gotta just deal with it.
When Woody in the first Toy Story is like, because we toys see everything. That's the government. That's our phones.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next week.